I'm sorry, Jackson State fans, and for all my HBCU fans, whether you want to believe this or not, that's up to you, but Deion Sanders is looking for bigger and better things. That's human nature in life. Nobody wants to stay at the same level. You want to level up. That's what it's about. I'm not saying he doesn't like Jackson State. I'm not saying he doesn't like the kids there. He doesn't like the program. It's more of he's got to do what's best for him. As the days continue to go by, it's starting to look like more and more every single day that Deion Sanders will eventually be leaving Jackson State. His days with that program are becoming limited, and you hate to see it. It's such a sad thing to see because he's built it up to what it is now, and he's done an amazing job. Can't say enough good things about him. But sometimes in life, you got to move on to bigger and better things. And a lot of people feel like that is exactly what is about to happen, and it is what it is. It's a way of life. Anytime you have a new and young great head coach and they're at a small school doing a fantastic job, we see what everybody, a big-time program, is going to try to buy them out and get them to come to their school. Think about it. All these great head coaches like Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, they didn't start out as the head coach at Alabama, Georgia, or Clemson. They worked their way up. With that being said, we have some new reports coming out, and I think this is insanely fascinating. It's starting to look like this is a two-team race, and one team in particular, Auburn, they have their eyes dead set on Deion. I talked about this 9 or 10 days ago on the channel. I thought Auburn would be a great fit. However, I didn't know if they were going to pursue him. Like I said earlier, though, it's looking like as the days continue to go on, it's looking like his days at Jackson State, they're limited. We have so much to talk about, so much to go over, so much stuff to dive into detail with, but hold on, real quick. I want to ask you guys a question. Would you not love to see primetime Deion Sanders at Auburn? Who would be opposed to that? I already love what he's done at Jackson State, and if he came to the SEC, could you imagine how much attention he would bring to the conference? I think the Auburn fan base would fall in love with this guy. He's a player's coach. Every school in the country should want Deion to be the next coach. All right. I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. No intro, none of that. You already know. If you're new to the channel or not subscribed, consider subscribing. We're on the road 300K. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up now. Without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, I do want to address this because I was sending it on Instagram, and I thought it was interesting. I don't see many people talking about it. So if you live in the state of Florida, you have free football tickets to go to the Florida State and Wake Forest game. And for those of you that don't know, this is a top 25 matchup. And if you live in the state of Florida, you can get in for free and you get 4 tickets. I will show you what the athletic director he put out there, and it's rather simple. You show up to the game, show him your ID, and you get 4 tickets. I thought that was pretty cool because he's doing that because of the whole Hurricane Ian stuff, and you love to see it. You also don't see this every day, and may I remind you, this is a top 25 matchup. It's not like Florida State is playing some FCS opponent or some nobody. This is going to be a good ball game. If you're trying to ball on a budget and have a good time Saturday, I highly recommend you to go to this game if you're near the area. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, moving on to the main topic, the main reason, the main encore of this video, the reason you clicked on it. I already said that, but stick with me. We got good old prime time. Prime time. I can't get enough of this guy. I love everything about him, and most of you know this. I'm not saying you got to like him, form your own opinion, but I think he's already right now, whether you're talking about D1, non-Power 5, FCS, high school, middle school, don't care. He's a top 10 head coach at this given moment. Whoa. Hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying. Well, Matt, I want to see him do it at an Auburn. I want to see him do it at a big-time Power 5 school. Yeah, he's been good at Jackson State, but they don't have competition. I understand that argument. Here's my counter-argument to it. Deion Sanders is a winner. And what do we say on this channel? Winners win, losers lose. It doesn't matter where a winner is in any aspect of their life, they're going to find a way to win. Same thing for losers. And I want to remind some of y'all, this just doesn't go with sports. This goes with your everyday life. Have you noticed some of the most successful business people out there, every single business they start up or touch, it's successful? Do you really think it's a coincidence that everything Elon Musk does, he's good at? It's pattern recognition. Every business that Elon Musk has been associated with, it works out. Applying that analogy to Deion Sanders, I don't think it matters if he's at Jackson State, Tennessee, East Tioga Community College, he's at Chattanooga Water Aquarium College, Auburn, LSU, anywhere in the country, he is going to win. You know why I believe that? Because he's one of those rare people in life where he is a leader of men. And guess what? For those of you that don't know this, that's what being a college football head coach is all about. Yes, of course, you gotta know the X's and O's, but it's about being a leader. And oh yeah, by the way, if you want to try to pull up, oh well yeah, he's a great leader, but I don't know about his play calling and all this and all that. Well, he played the game at a high level. If anybody knows about the X's and O's, it's Deion Sanders. So for all those people out there that don't think he's qualified enough for a big-time D1 Power 5 job, I think you're sadly mistaken. Speaking of Power 5 and big-time D1 jobs, let's get into the two schools that really want them, and I'm not even going to talk about Georgia Tech that much because Deion Sanders is not interested. He even stated, quote-unquote, not too long ago, it's nice to be mentioned in regards to the Georgia Tech job. If somebody says it's nice to be mentioned about anything in life, I don't really get the feeling and vibe that they're too excited about it. That's all I'm going to say about the Georgia Tech job. I've stated this before. I'm going to state it again. I think he'd be making a huge mistake by going there. Yes, he may get a lot of money, but I don't think it's all about the money for him. He wants to go to a great fit and program that fit himself. Georgia Tech's not like Auburn. I think Deion could walk into Auburn next year and easily get 6 to 7 wins. On the contrary, for Georgia Tech, I'm not too sold on the fact that you could easily get 6 to 7 wins with that program and where they're at. My point is, and I'm trying to make this short and simple, Georgia Tech is a complete rebuild, whereas for Auburn, it's not a complete rebuild. You just need a couple of new recruits to go in there and change things. You also need a new head coach, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about. The reports have been coming out for weeks now. It even came out in the summer, where everyone is saying this is Brian Harsin's last year. For those of you that have been living under a rock, Brian Harsin is Auburn's current head coach. Me personally, I would be shocked if he doesn't get fired after the Georgia game, but if they do keep him, everybody knows after the year's over, he's gone. And the way it's starting to look is that Auburn's going to finish out this year, and as soon as the year's over, they're going to offer Deion this huge and big contract. Don't want to take my word for it? Well, here's what a Fox analyst that goes by the name of Joel Klatt, I really like him, he is so well spoken. Here's what he said. He even stated, just like myself, that going to Auburn would be the most logical stop, and here's what he said, quote unquote. When I look at Auburn, the only way to get where they expect to be is to win some recruiting battles. And think of some of the coaches they have got to compete with to win some of those recruiting battles. It's going to be very difficult. To me, that's the first and foremost criteria for your next coach at Auburn. Can you go into any living room in America and win recruiting battles? And to me, that's Deion Sanders. So that's why I think Deion's going to be the next coach at Auburn. I have a lot to say about this. Going to Auburn, it almost seems like the perfect match. I'm sorry, Jackson State fans, and for all my HBCU fans, whether you want to believe this or not, that's up to you, but Deion Sanders is looking for bigger and better things. That's human nature in life. Nobody wants to stay at the same level. You want to level up. That's what it's about. I'm not saying he doesn't like Jackson State. I'm not saying he doesn't like the kids there. He doesn't like the program. It's more of he's got to do what's best for him. And for those of you that want to say, oh, what about the kids? He's going to be leaving them behind. No, he's not. That's what the transfer portal is about. And I think that's why Auburn has a good shot of landing him next year in this summer coming up, because he can bring all the kids he wants with him. Travis Hunter, the number one recruit in the country, he'll just bring them with him to Auburn, and that's a win-win for both parties. Deion Sanders goes to a bigger and better program with more money to fund recruiting and more money just for him to have fun with, and Travis Hunter gets to play on national TV every Saturday. Whereas now, he's not playing on national TV, and if Jackson State is playing, nobody's tuning in those games. And when I say nobody, let me clarify, I'm saying nobody as in it's not like if Alabama played Auburn. Nobody's going to watch Jackson State as much as an Alabama or Auburn game. Another player he can bring with him to Auburn, and this can help his draft stock, is his son, Shedeur Sanders. Once again, it goes back to me saying this, and it's why I think it's so perfect. Shedeur Sanders is a pretty good quarterback, and Auburn doesn't have a quarterback right now. I mean, they do have a quarterback technically, but if you're an Auburn fan, you know what I'm talking about. You don't have a steady quarterback right now. The ones you're using, TJ Finley and the Robbie Ashford guy, it's just not good. The quarterback play at Auburn for the past couple of years or so, it's been wishy-washy at best. Let me put it this way, and I need to start doing this more because I think it gives you a better perspective on how I feel about it. I'd say right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the chance that Deion goes to Auburn? It's probably an 8. I'm very confident in saying there's an 80% chance that Deion goes to Auburn. Just look at the facts. There's no real benefits of staying at Jackson State. There's none, not a single one, and I hate to say it, but it's the cold hard truth. And maybe I'm wrong about this. Let me know in the comment section. I am very curious, Auburn fans and SEC fans. Would the SEC and more particular Auburn fans not love this guy? I don't even got to ask about the players. I know the players are going to love this guy. He's a player's coach. To go on top of that, he's more than just a coach. He's almost like another father figure for a lot of these kids. He doesn't want them just to be a good football player and go out there and put W's in the column. He wants them to be better men. I do got to bring this up though. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. There's going to be some dark days, and it's going to take time. There's no way he's going to go out there and win 10 or 11 games in his first season. It's going to take 2, 3, maybe 4 years. I think if Auburn does hire him, you got to give him time to get his recruits in. You got to give him at minimum, I think, 3 years. Because remember, not only is Auburn in the SEC West, which is the toughest division in all of college football, they also have to play Georgia every single year. Every single year, you have to play Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M, and Arkansas every single year. You also got to play Ole Miss, but I just named off 5 teams that are pretty good right now. We'd be having a completely different conversation if Auburn was in the Pac-12 or the Big Ten. Oh yeah, easily. They can win 10 games the first year. But the SEC is not the Big Ten. It's not the Pac-12. It is on a completely different level. And if anyone disagrees with that statement, you're an idiot. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But right away, Mary!